How's everybody?
Of course, you wanted to win in your first game, but how do you feel the evening progressed?
Well, you know, there's always disappointment when we lose like that. So there were some good things. We outchanced them. Our possession numbers were better. We outshot them, but we gave up some poor, timely goals. The shorthanded goal was bad, but the fourth goal was a real breaker. Right after we scored that goal, we might have had some momentum back on our side. And if you take away those two goals, right then it's 2-2, and we're in the game. So we've got to eliminate those issues where we're making things happen to ourselves. But we did a lot of things that we wanted to do, and sometimes it's just going to be harder at first than we want it to be to get back into the win column. So we're going to get back to work, and we're just going to continue to push and say, listen, these are some of the areas. There's some areas where I thought we stopped working, some areas where guys let up, and we can fix that. So, you know, there's a lot of positive things, but at the end of the day, you know, it's the win column that matters.
How will you plot progress in the short term? How will you plot progress? What do you want to see?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's the things I just mentioned. They outchanced them. They had 12 chances. There's the games where we were giving up 40 shots and they're getting 25, 26 chances. So they had 12. Our possession time that we chart and take care of and look at that, our numbers were better than theirs. But there's still a game to play when you look at all those stats and the analytics and different things. There's still a game that plays inside. And we gave up goals that were untimely and unnecessary. And so we can eliminate those things, which is the positive thing. And, you know, I feel like the guys were in a good frame of mind going into it. They seemed to be pretty jazzed up. I think you could see the start of the game that looked like they were pretty tight. And they either nervous or tight or whatever the reason is, but I felt like we weren't moving our feet early in the game, and we did some good things in the low recoveries or breakouts, if you will, but then we kind of mishandled pucks and turned pucks over early in the period, which kind of kept the momentum on their side, but they still didn't capitalize in a lot of areas where, you know, I thought that we could have been better, and I think that we can continue going in that direction.
One of the Washington players told me the biggest difference under Truss is that they've had to learn to play five-man system in the defensive zone.
Yeah.
You obviously worked with Barry.
Yeah.
Is that going to be something that you'll incorporate into your group?
It's absolutely, it's what we used to call 5-5-5, and we want five guys in this defensive zone, in the neutral zone, and in the offensive zone. It's all connected, and we believe that that's the way it has to be. And we made some adjustments in practice the other day. We talked about it. Those weren't the areas that hurt us. It was, you know, the shorthanded goal where we changed and we didn't track back hard. We kind of let up on that, and those things, you know, those are the things that we say, hey, that should never ever happen, but it did happen and it hurt us and it was untimely. And, you know, the fourth goal right after we scored, I mean, those are, again, were situations where we had the possession of the puck on the wall, we misplayed it, we left the zone, they came back in, and they took advantage of the situation. We can correct that as well. Those were goals that hurt us and, you know, put us in a situation where we were too far for us to come back. I mean, they're obviously a good team as well, but, you know, I thought that at that point, a 2-2 game would have get our legs going, got ourselves going a little bit. But, you know, their shots were down. We wanted to make sure that they weren't getting the 40 shots. Obviously, that's an area where we wanted to be. The chances, we didn't want to give up high numbers of chances, and giving up 12 against a team like that is going in the right direction.
Coach, it seemed like Phil Kessel, there's a lot of criticism aimed at Phil Kessel the last couple of days. How's he handling it in the room? Is he kind of wearing that criticism, feeling the weight of the world on him, that he's got something to prove? You
know, I think that you guys put a lot of pressure on the guys all the time. I mean, that's what you like to do. So they all know when they're in this environment that that's part of goes with it. That's part of it. So, you know, they lose their cool sometimes, and, you know, we have to remind them that that's not the best way to handle it, and we have to move forward in a positive way. And you've got to, you know, internalize it with your teammates, and you've got to keep it inside so you can handle this and not let it affect you in a negative way. But, you know, he the next day I had a good talk with him after that, and I think that he seemed to be in a good frame of mind going into it.
Thanks, Coach.
Sorry. Here, Pat Quinn, Derek King, there seems to be, and now you and Steve, there seems to be a bit of a tradition of Hamilton guys behind the bench in this system. What does it mean to you to be a part of that?
Well, if you mention my name with Pat Quinn, that's pretty good, so I'll take that anytime. So, Steve's a quality guy, and I knew Pat and his daughter, Callie. She worked in Nashville when I was there, and so, they're obviously really good people, and it makes me feel like I'm mentioned in a pretty good crowd, so it's good.